Yeah, I got shot when I was 23. I married a young lady that everybody was telling me not to, but I was like, look, y'all don't understand our love. So we get into a huge argument one day, and the first time I tried to leave, she ran out the house and like hit the windshield with a shovel and like shattered the windshield.
Ooh, that's pretty bad.
Not too long after that, we get into another argument. So I had a pistol on deck at all times, so she wouldn't grab it. Like, you're not gonna leave this time. You're gonna listen to me finish this argument. I was holding our son at the time, right? I turn to leave. She shoots me in the forearm. The bullet goes through my forearm and goes across his forehead. I'm looking at my son. His face is bleeding. My arm's bleeding. I set my son down and I look. She's got the gun pointed at my head, bro. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to leave. All I could do is close my eyes, and all I heard was click.
Oh, shit.
So then she's messing with the gun. The only thing I can think of, like if I try to run, she go shoot me in the back. So I just ran towards her and just turned into a UFC maniac. Wop, wop. So I drove to the police station, gave him the gun, like, look, this is what happened. She at the house knocked out right now. She's snoring. My parents coming to get the kids, but this is what happened. So we got to an argument. She shot me and I hit her. And man, my parents came to pick up the kids. The ambulance came and picked me up from the police station. Right. It took me to the hospital. So at the hospital, they looked, they was like, oh, it just went through. And then, you know, they did an x-ray to see there wasn't no bullet fragments in there, none of that. And then they wrapped my arm up. And while I'm in there getting my arm wrapped up, this detective walks in like, hey, so yeah, I'm detective such and such with Inkster Police and yada, yada, yada. And so what happened? I'm in the middle of telling this man what happened. He just, that's not what happened. What happened is you were hitting her and she tried to defend herself and she shot you. I'm like, bro, that ain't what happened. Why would I drive till you drove to the police station as a cover? That's what you do. Arrest him. Dog, right after they bandaged me, man, they put me in handcuffs. 2 weeks after that, she came knocking on the door. This is while we in the middle of trial. She knocked on the door at like 2 a.m. with a skirt on. Like, what's going on? I was like, it's 2 a.m. What are you doing? She was like, I just came to see you. And it's like, I could hear that pussy talking to me. Like,
This is after the shot?
yeah, it's after the shot. Talking.
Wait, I thought she got locked up.
Well, it's still a trial period though. So while we was in trial, she came over at like 2 a.m. Like,
That's so crazy.
oh yeah, I knocked her down.
You hit it one more time?
Yeah, I had to.
Oh my God, guys are so dumb.
Oh man,
guys are so
I
dumb.
had to.
What if she had a pussy pistol?
I think I something like frisked her before she came in. Like, man, get your hands up. Let me frisk
Guys
her.
are so crazy.
We so stupid.
You had to frisk her so you didn't get murdered for one more round.
It was worth it too.
Holy shit.
And then I asked her to leave right after that. She was crushed. Like, I can't stay. Like, no, I want to be able to wake up in the
You
morning.
shot me and the baby. No, you can't stay. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. But thank you.
I got into a work fight. I was working at this dealership in Santa Monica. For whatever reason, this dude, he comes up with a bottle of Windex and he's spraying the other coworkers. And in my mind, like, if he comes over here and he sprays me, I'm gonna hit him in his face. I'm a grown ass man with kids.
As you should.
And he's making his way, spraying people, and I'm just standing there. I think inside I wanted it.
Yeah, of course.
So like, he comes back with the Windex bottle, and sure enough, he sprayed me on the arm, and it was immediate reaction. I hit him in his chest so hard, I tried to like push his heart to his spine. Torque from the waist. It was like a Tyson punch. And he dropped the bottle and coughed. And I looked, it was like 2 supervisors there. It was cameras everywhere. I'm like, I'm done. And I just knew I was gonna get fired. But he left. Supervisor grabs me, he walks around the corner like, you know, he said, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted you to fucking punch her. And it's the end of the night. We walking off the hoop court. And the black dude has got his wife with him and his mother-in-law. He's walking next to me with his girl talking about the game and blah, blah, blah. So we walk into the car. I'm walking to my car, he walking to his. 2 Arab dudes surround him and his girl and mother-in-law. Hey man, what's up with that shit you was talking in there? I told you not to call me bitch. And the dude was like, hey, I'm here with my wife. Here with my wife, my mother-in-law. I don't want no trouble. Oh, you got the trouble. Ran up on my man, grabbed him, slammed him in front of his wife, in front of his mother-in-law. Slammed the nigga, got him in a headlock. And the dude was like, I don't want to fight. I'm here with my wife. He done completely changed up his whole attitude. You was calling niggas bitch and all this shit on the hoop court. Right. Now you getting slammed and you saying you don't want to fight. Right. Dude's on the ground in a headlock. The Arab dude told him, I will let you go if you say I don't want none. I'll let you go. This nigga starts screaming, I don't want none. I don't want none.
Good evening. I brought all of y'all out here today because we getting ready to go march. We gonna march so that we can ride at the front of the bus. Excuse me, sir. instead of marching to ride at the front of the bus, how about we march to own our own bus lines? Shut up, nigga.
The American government gave reparations to the Japanese. So during World War II, all the Japanese Americans that were here, most of them were put in concentration camps because the government was like, oh, these Japanese niggas might kill us while they're here. Let's put their ass in concentration camps. So they put them in concentration camps. And then over time, the Japanese started fighting for reparations. Like, hey, look, during World War II, you had us in camps here in the United States. And they gave all the survivors or their family members reparations.
Yeah, don't get me started. I'm still kind of pissed about that. Actually, not kind of, very pissed about that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, so these niggas can just jump the line. I see how it is.
Facts. But they fought for it. They got councils. Like, there's no nigga council.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're fucking spread around. Like,
It's like, what, the NAACP, that shit's a joke. Like, niggas ain't fighting. Like, there's not.
y'all got Rachel Dolezal running chapters. Like,
You got a white bitch saying she's a nigga representing the NAACP.
So I remember my brother was hemmed up in the room and my dad was drunk, and I came in there and I kind of tried to break it up. My dad just slammed me against the closet and broke my brother's closet. And my brother just he went, when my dad told him to, he snapped. And he took off first. He just took off on my dad first. And honestly, that gave me the courage to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, now when you see a chink in a nigga armor, you go.
Yeah. Like when you saw your bro take off, it was like,
Oh, it's go time now, right? Because my brother, he's bigger than me, he's stronger than me. Even though he was he a smarty-arty nigga, but my dad gave him the hands first. My dad showed him how to use the hands first. So we started going, and then I remember we had him on the ground first. When we got him to the ground, I remember him saying yeah, some bitch ass niggas, y'all gonna stop your father out. And we was like, you need to calm down. He's like, your mother's a bitch for no reason, right? And at the time, him and my mom been divorced.
Right.
They've been divorced for years.
I'm at the light and I got motor. I ain't got no sounds. I got motor, and I'm really like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? I got the cutlass, and and this nigga pulled up, making a left turn in Detroit is the equivalent of walking on red carpet. This nigga was in the left turning lane, and he looked at me. He's on 24, some spinners. Mm-hmm. And I could hear his trunk rattling. I ain't had no sounds yet. I was still in construction stage. I had just got the paint. Man, this nigga rolled his windows down. And all I could start hearing was, everybody get your roll on. Everybody get your roll on. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to look at this nigga, man. I want my light to turn green before his. This nigga making a left turn, everybody get your roll on. The nigga looking at me doing this on the left turn. That nigga destroyed me, dog. Yeah. I turned around and took my shit back home and put it in the garage. I put my car in the garage. I ain't ready yet. This is like the 80s when the late 80s, early 90s when the crack epidemic was popping. And me and my dad and my brother get out the car. We walking in the grocery store. And we get out the car and this starts singing to my dad. Ooh, way, ooh. He got this gyration movement going. I see you got your sons with you. Ooh. My man had the mouth grits, when niggas got white shit in the corner of their mouth. Had mouth grits, and he was stanking, and it was missing some chiclets. I was fried. I'm probably 10 years old at the time, 10, 11, just late 80s, early 90s, man. We going to the grocery store, and I'm like, Dad, who was your mans? Who knew your name and singing and dancing? And he had mouth grits, and what was that? He was like, oh, that was Biscuit. I was like, who is Biscuit? There was this raccoon. This was years ago. I'll probably get some flack about this, but I don't care. A week prior, it was a raccoon attacking my trash cans, terrorizing my garbage. And I went out there one day and I seen it, and I clapped him, shot him twice. And I put the gun back in the cabinet in the kitchen, and I never reloaded those bullets in the 5-shot revolver. That same gun I shot that raccoon with is the same gun I got shot with. So when my ex shot me, one bullet, when the revolver turned, one bullet was already in the chamber, and that's the one that went through my arm. But when she pulled the trigger again, it was an empty chamber because I never replaced that bullet from shooting that raccoon. So had I not shot the raccoon, I probably wouldn't be here today. Or had I reloaded the bullet, I wouldn't be here today. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
That's crazy.
little small details to just let us know that God is always in control. I remember like 6 months later, Langston, I'm in the shower and my wife come knocking on the door like, you got to come out here right now. This that same hood house. Dog, I come out the shower, walk outside. It's a on the grass, garbage bagged and duct taped up with a cell phone taped to his chest. And there's a hole in the part of his mouth for him to breathe. And when I walked up on him, he started screaming, and the phone starts ringing. And he was like, "Oh, don't answer the phone." I'm like, I asked her what happened. She said there was a minivan that rolled by, and they threw this out the minivan on the way by and threw him on my grass and kept driving. I was like, man, what the hell I done got myself into, dog? This nigga getting threw out of minivans in front of my house. Got a cell phone taped to his chest. I tried to call the police. I grabbed the nigga's legs to move him. Like, what if they come back and get this nigga? I got the dog shit beat out of me in 5th grade by Richard Covert. And because I tested this gangster. He was a big white boy. He was talking all this shit, man. And he was on the playground. And I don't know. I just didn't like the swag. So I was like, let me test it. Let me just test it. I need to see. And I started some shit with Richard. And I swung on him. I cracked him one good time. And this big corn-fed white boy ate this punch. Looked at me, nigga, and it was the winter time, so I had a coat on and a skull cap like this. This nigga Richard charged me, dog. Pulled my skull cap down over my face and started filling me up with rights and lefts. Oh my God, nigga, I was just eating them bitches like, all I could see was white because my head, and I didn't even have the wherewithal to pull my skull cap up. My shit's still down and he's just filling me and I'm just, all I can remember at some point is being like, please stop. So I'll go to walk in. There's this old black security guard, nigga. He only got hair on the sides, nothing up top. Nigga got a fro on the sides. And I walk in, and this nigga lets me put everything on the security belt. Go in. I walk through the little metal detector shit. And there was a line of people behind him paying their ticket. I'm thinking maybe 40 people. And this nigga purposely did this whole shit for an audience because he could have stopped me before I went through security. I got on jogging pants and a t-shirt. There's a sign outside that says, nobody can get in unless you have proper attire. This nigga lets me get through security, Langston. As soon as I get in and I'm getting my shit off the belt, he said, "My man, yeah, you can't come up in here with them parachute pants on, man. Yeah, you got to turn around and leave." Everybody behind this nigga's cracking up laughing because they looking at my pants and shit. I shot on the wrong rim in 7th grade at Romulus Junior High and made it too. I cashed out in the game. Yeah, I was a power dork, 7th grade. Nigga, I remember catching the ball and I was like on the block. They were shooting free throws, the other team. Nigga, I got the rebound. And in my mind, I was playing 21. That's all I played in the hood. Nigga, I cashed out. All I can remember, I remember hearing my coach saying, "Charlie, no." when the ball was coming out of my hand, "Charlie, no." Whew. Like, damn, I done made the basket on the wrong rim, dog. Nigga, I got murdered at school the next day, dog. Destroyed. I ain't nobody special, man. I'm just a blue-collar square that got a good balance of failures and successes, man.
Hey, I'm over here in Southwest Detroit right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm setting up shop over here in this house. I'm running Southwest, you feel me? I don't see Southwest T. I don't see Meech. Look at that. I'm outside right now, baby. I don't see nobody. I'm running the city right now. You understand what I'm saying?
What you doing over here, nigga?
I'm actually a real estate agent. I'm just listing this house and putting it on my MLS. Yeah. You want a card?
You got 3 seconds to leave, nigga.
Okay. All right.
Around that time when I took the buyout from Ford, I was going to this really dope church. His pastor, his name was Bishop Jabert, man. He was an awesome man. The guy, he became a millionaire before he was a pastor. And so he wasn't out there begging for people money. And like he was like, I was rich before I became a pastor. So my story ain't like everybody else. I know how to get money. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to beg you for your money. He said, I had a Benz that was out there in the parking lot before I became a pastor. So what? He said, I know how to get rich. And then he was like, I'm going to teach y'all the skills that I learned through the Bible to get rich too. I'm like, this one of the realest men of God I've ever came across. And he was 100. He was like, I've never touched a woman in here. He was, you know, if I touched you in this church, stand up. I'm like, I've never seen this before. Somebody that was rich before they was a pastor. Somebody that was walking upright, loved his wife, had great kids, wasn't messing with the money or church. He was like, I don't need to. He said, you can trust me. You can trust me around your wife. You can trust me around your kids. You can trust me around the money. So First Baptist Church, we was in the choir stand. Me and my brother and my dad was in the male chorus at First Baptist. So I was like maybe 10. My brother was 8. And there was this dude in there. His name was Mr. Courtney. And he was always clean. It was an older black dude. It was like 75. In this day, he had like a yellow suit on. And we was in between songs. And that nigga looked around at all of us. And we was in rehearsal. He looked around at everybody and was like, hey, y'all. I went to the doctor the other day. And that nurse touched my leg. And my thing went like this. Nigga held his arm up and demanded eye contact from all of us. And even at 10, I knew what this meant. Like, nigga got touched by the nurse and nigga had an erection. And at his age, he was just excited that he had an erection to the point where he wanted to tell everybody in the male chorus.
Like, man, when I had my daughter, I was happy, but I was such an ex-hoe. Like, I was a big hoe. Like, we didn't know we was going to name her because I fucked all the names. Oh man,
The nigga went through all his letters. Like,
I went through all the letters, man. My lady was like, Brittany. I'm like, everybody know Brittany for the street, man. I can't do that, and then, you know, fucking all that, all the name. So I named her Zariah. Had to go all the way to the Z's.
All the way to the Z. Langston and Charles. You know, the cool thing about our names is if you see our names on like a job application, you won't know what color we are.
You'll have no fucking clue.
Which is dope. Like my ex-wife, she's got a black name. And she applied for this job. And they wouldn't call her. And I was like, let's do this experiment. I'm going to apply for the same job with my name, Charles. Nigga, they called me in the next day. And I went to the interview and went off. I was like, man, listen, my wife applied for this job. And y'all didn't call her. She got more qualifications than me. And basically, they was just looking at me like, we know, nigga. We know. She's got a black name. So look, be careful when you're naming your kids, man. I couldn't believe they called me in, but I got an old name. Me and Langston have old names. But I think because of that, what I do is I judge other people based on their name. You know, I shake a nigga hand. He's like, man, my name's Cleophas. I don't want to be cool with you, dog. Experience. I was in Walmart the other day trying to buy my kids some inner tubes for their bike. And I had to wait because the inner tubes was locked up. I'm like, what? Why the fuck they got the inner tubes? I mean, it was like behind lock and key. So I had to wait on an associate to come and let me in.
Inner tubes.
Inner tubes.
Can you make meth out of those?
I don't know, but guess what the fuck? I'm pretty sure the white people know. We need to ask them, can you make meth?
From inner tubes?
From inner
Is that
tubes?
some-
Why are they locked up? Maybe you guys can share. I don't fucking know. But what I do know is while I was in there, dog, waiting on inner tubes with my kids, waiting on them to unlock the door, I look and there's some tweakers holding bikes. One got both arms, and one of them's got like a little scooter. And I'm like, these niggas, and as soon as I thought it, these niggas, they ran out the side door and stole all the shit. And it puzzled me. The inner tubes are locked up, but the bikes aren't. Fucking stupid. You got tweakers, and then you got a door right by the bikes. And did you know, before the 90s, like a lot of motherfuckers now is famous for being famous, but before the 90s, fame was a byproduct of being good at something. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody had to say it.
For real. And it was a byproduct that most motherfuckers hated. They was good at sports. I think Mike Tyson, good at acting or comedy or whatever. They were so good at it that they were now famous because of that. Now motherfuckers out here, now these YouTube and all this other shit, you famous for being famous. What the fuck are you good at, nigga? You good at being consistent? You a bitch in real life.
I mean, I kind of went off on Instagram the other day because I'm like, 90% of these quote unquote film channels are just salty niggas that have don't have the balls to pick up a camera and actually try and shoot something.
Dog,
but
shoot
I gotta
something.
listen to them talking about this is the worst decision ever. And why do you have 1 million views on some shit that you've never even attempted
You
in
got
your
a
life?
million views on criticize. I'll burn this bitch down.
No, I'm not. No, not for any bread.
That's what I'm saying. But you got a level of sanity in a relationship. Sometimes, man, look, the worst thing somebody can do is have their identity solely in a relationship with another individual. Like your identity can't be in another person because that person can change their mind at any given time. And also, too, this is how I feel as a man, especially us as creators, Langston. Like every man has a 2-year-old inside of him. And that 2-year-old want to come out and play. That 2-year-old want to be vulnerable. That 2-year-old wants to be loved, the whole nine. But if you in a relationship that does not allow that 2-year-old to play freely, you need to really question that situation. That 2-year-old wants to be vulnerable, wants to say, this is how I feel. This was my day. Or, damn, I want to play. I want to be silly. But if you were a woman who's constantly trying to emasculate you and don't want to let that 2-year-old out, that's not a safe situation.